Hello and welcome back to Bible with Bible Corner. Today we're going to start Acts chapter 17 and I'm going to read verses 1 through 9 starting with the English Standard Version. Now when they had passed through Amphipolis and Apollonia, they came to Thessalonica, where there was a synagogue of the Jews. And Paul went in, as was his custom, and on 3 Sabbath days he reasoned with them from the Scriptures, explaining and proving that it was necessary for the Christ to suffer and to rise from the dead, and saying, this Jesus whom I proclaim to you is the Christ. And some of them were persuaded to join Paul and Silas, as did a great many of the devout Greeks, and not a few of the leading women. But the Jews were jealous, and taking some wicked men of the rabbi, they formed a mob, set the city in an uproar, and attacked the house of Jason, seeking to bring them out up to the crowd. And when they could not find them, they dragged Jason and some of the brothers before the city authorities, shouting, "These men who have turned the world upside down have come here also. And Jason has received them, and they are all acting against the decrees of Caesar, saying that there is another king, Jesus." And the people of the city and the city authorities were disturbed when they heard these things, and when they had taken money as security from Jason and the rest, they let them go. New Century Version. Paul and Silas traveled through Amphipolis and Apollonia and came to Thessalonica, where there was a synagogue. Paul went into the synagogue as he always did, and on each Sabbath day for 3 weeks he talked with the fellow Jews about the Scriptures. He explained and proved that the Christ must die and then rise from the dead. He said, "This Jesus I am telling you about is the Christ." Some of them were convinced to join Paul and Silas, along with many of the Greeks who worshiped God and many of the important women. But some others became jealous. So they got some evil men from the marketplace, formed a mob, and started a riot. They ran to Jason's house looking for Paul and Silas, wanting to bring them out to the people. But when they did not find them, they dragged Jason and some other believers to the leaders of the city. The people were yelling, "These people have made trouble everywhere in the world, and now they have come here too. Jason is keeping them in his house. All of them do things against the laws of Caesar, saying there is another king called Jesus." When the people and the leaders of the city heard these things, they became very upset. They made Jason and the others put up a sum of money. Then they let the believers go free. Okay, so sorry about the mispronunciation of the cities. Some of these towns, it's a little bit difficult, at least for me, to pronounce them. And same with some of the names of the people. Now, Paul and Silas are continuing a missionary journey. They are going through Thessalonica here and proclaiming God's word. And we see a similar story as we have seen in previous chapters. There are those that believe, and then there are those that, it doesn't say they don't believe, it just says they're jealous. So they start a riot to get people against Paul and Silas. And in their eyes, it was somewhat successful, even though they couldn't find Paul and Silas. they found the person that was holding them in their house, or in his house, and they made that person and those that were with that person pay us on the money. In other words, you pay us a little bit of money, we'll let you go free, we'll forget about this whole thing. Well, that's not exactly how 100% of this works. In other words, what I'm getting at is you can't just pay money and pretend that something never happened, because, well, the thing did happen, and there's a whole lot of, in today's world, there's a whole lot of laws against that. I don't know about back then. However, we still have it happening. We still have Paul and Silas being persecuted everywhere they go, and it's just proof here again that the more they talk about Christ, the more his followers continue to grow, and yes, the more the persecution happens. So you really can't have one without the other, because we are created with free will. We can choose to think and believe what we want to think and believe. So you can't have a group of people over here that are 100% gung-ho following Christ without having a group of people over here that are wanting to persecute the followers of Christ. But that strengthens the church. It helps the church grow. I hope you find encouragement in this, and I hope you have a wonderful, God-centered day. Bye.